Hey there, Robert Quebeca here, and I wanted to share some of my 2023 in review. And so hopefully this won't take too long. As always, I was able to get a lot done this year, which I'm grateful for. And I'm here at the Portland Media Center in our front window and with a couple of my favorite pieces of art here. So if you see people walking by or waving, what have you, we're on Congress Street. And it's New Year's Day, and people are out and about. And this is also where I have my art gallery, and showing off some of my pieces of art here. So more on that in a little bit. So if you have any questions or anything like that, just go ahead and ask questions. I'll see it in the chat here, and am happy to have a conversation. So cool. So one of the first big things that I did this year was that I went to India, and that was really, really cool. I had the opportunity to go and visit my brother and his husband, who live in New Delhi, and I spent 3 weeks there. And as short a time as it was a long time, and it wasn't long enough. I got to go to Agra and the Taj Mahal. I got to go to Siskara on a wild safari. Wow. And peacocks are one of the most spiritual animals on the planet to me, and I saw thousands of them. It was incredible. I did see a leopard in a tree, chilling out. I didn't get a picture of it, but I'm convinced of it, and no one's been able to unconvince me of it. But anyway, it was a lot of fun to do that. I went to Jaipur. My brother-in-law, Kevin, took me there, and I just loved Jaipur. It was the shopping, the shopping, and the temples everywhere. Also got to go to Rishikesh, and I think that's probably one of my favorite places on the planet, next to Montreal. Don't ask. So I had a really deep, profound spiritual experience in Rishikesh when I was standing above the Ganga River over a bridge. No, I was not floating over the Ganga River. I was standing on a bridge over the Ganga River. But it was an interesting spiritual experience that had profound effects over the next several months. I did get to the Beatles ashram, which was incredibly inspiring. Wow, just amazingly inspiring. I was so grateful that I had the opportunity to do that. So, and what else? The shopping in Old Delhi. Oh my God, the spice markets and everything like that. Not a place for people who are claustrophobic, So it was the interesting experience. I'm glad my brother was there. And things like that. But it was an amazing experience. I think I came back with about 30 pounds of spices in my suitcase. It was incredible. I also bought a sitar and learned how to play the sitar. More on that later. So India was just such a great experience. And when I got back, I got to spend a lot of time with my Tante Margot. I call her my aunt. She's a distant relative, but she held me in my arms when I was born. She was part of our family, and she lives in New York City, and now she's 97, and she's in an assisted living place right now. But this year I got to go to New York, I don't know, probably about a dozen times, and got to spend time with her, which I was really grateful for. She's an incredibly independent woman. And so going to assisted living was not an easy transition for her. And I'm glad that I've had the opportunity to spend time with her and visit with her and see her. And one of our favorite things to do is eat croissants and chocolate and popovers. So she loves these popovers that we get from a restaurant in Midtown. And then I'll get croissants from Balthazar, which is my favorite pastry shop on the planet still. To this day, it has been for decades, and I love Balthazar in Soho. But anyway, so I get croissants from there. Chocolate, she loves Newhouse, so we have chocolate, croissants, and popovers, and her and I are both suckers for amazing French fries. So that's pretty much our diet, plus lots of other great Arabic foods and kibbis and falafels and shawarmas and what have you. So we like to expand our gastronomic horizons, as it were. So we had a lot of fun, and we do have a lot of fun. It's been a few months since I've been able to go down and see her. But she's dear to me, and I'm dear to her, and I'm glad that I had the opportunity to spend time with her. What else did I do? So I created lots of new art pieces this year. Not as many as I did last year. Who's counting? It doesn't matter. I mean, it's just when the creativity comes, it comes, and I just have learned to let it flow. In the past, to be like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow, or I'll get to it later, or something like that, and then the creativity's gone, and then what I end up creating is not really not what I wanted to create, but not what I thought I would create. So I've learned that when the inspiration hits me, even if it's at 11 o'clock at night or 6 o'clock in the morning or whatever, I will go to my art studio and I will let that creativity flow. I did that this morning. I've been working on a piece of art the last couple of days, and I was looking at it and I was like, oh, I know what I need to do. And I wasn't like, oh, well, let me eat breakfast or shower first or whatever. I'm like, no, let me just do it. Because I've learned to just let that creativity flow. So I've been really grateful for that lesson. So also this year, just completely surprising. If you would have told me at the beginning of this year that this would have happened, I would have laughed. But my art is on display in an exhibit here at the Portland Media Center Gallery, which is right next to Main Center for Art and Design. And I'm really honored to have my art on display. I have 67 pieces on display. And I actually started an art business just before having the opportunity to put my art here. And that's at robbieart.com. So if you've been following me, you probably have already seen it. But hey, if you haven't, you know where to go. So I have almost 250 pieces of art. So I've lost count. It doesn't matter. A lot of those pieces of art are available online, and I'm not selling anything. I'm just saying, it's like I've had the opportunity to start an art business. So, I'm really, I don't know, I'm just really grateful and honored to be able to do that. So, and the Portland Media Center here, as well, is some of you know that I did my first television series here a couple years ago, 2 years ago, and called Enlightened Pathways, and spiritual discussions about people's spiritual transformations. And enough people have asked me if I'm going to do a second season. So this might be the year. We'll see how it goes. But Portland Media Center has been a great facility for the entire greater Portland area community to come in and allow people to learn how to do TV and film and production and direction and sets and lights and sound and all these wonderful things. And I'm glad to have been part of it. Jumping ahead a little bit, but I have also been, I'm honored now to be on the board of directors of the Portland Media Center and on their development committee, their fundraising committee. So if you get a plea for me, and it's really inexpensive, it's $30 and you can become a member and get access to all kinds of different wonderful resources. So anyway, again, I'm not selling anything, but it's really kind of a fun place to, see where my creativity is really going to take me, and what I can do with it. So this year I was also able to write 4 books. And I wrote 4 books. I tried to get 2 more out, but I didn't quite hit the deadline. But that's all right. So I wrote a goal setting and time management book for students or anyone who is looking to take these complicated certifications for cybersecurity or information technology. And because I now have a online information technology training company. And so to help students get these complicated certifications, I do, personal coaching and group coaching and interview assistance and, job hunting guidance and all other kinds of training. And so I wrote this book to help these students understand what their educational goals are, both, for what that certification is going to do for them in their job or what have you, and how it's going to improve or enhance their life. And so I wrote that book. And then I wrote 2 books on marketing, specifically for business owners who do not know or have trouble finding out who their ideal customers are. So they're called the Avatar Code. You can go to avatarcode.com and find it if you want, or just go to robertquebeca.com and find everything. But at any rate, these two books are really fantastic. I had only planned to write one book, but it ended up being 400 pages. So no entrepreneur, me included, is going to buy a 400-page book. So I broke it up into a couple parts and honed it down a lot. And so we have Avatar Code Part 1 and Part 2. And now the third book that I was hoping to get done last year was a workbook that would combine the various steps and strategies that an entrepreneur or business person could execute in a strategic way to help them improve their business. So that's going to be coming up here in the next couple of weeks. So I'm just in the middle of finishing it, really. And then the fourth book that I was able to write is actually not a book. It's a short story poem. When I was visiting my Aunt Margot in New York City, there was a homeless person meandering the streets. He was obviously drunk, and he had obviously hurt himself, had a big bruise on his head and things like that. But he was drunk and he wasn't feeling anything. And he was just waddling down the road, using the cars to hold himself up. And just 100 feet away on the corner of 73rd and 3rd was this young kid in his 20s, looking kind of beat up and shaggy, and had a sign out that said, hey, I'm invisible, help me with money. And so while the homeless guy is walking down the street, I recognize that this kid jumps up from his sitting position, runs halfway down the block to make sure that his brand new Volvo SUV was locked. Okay. So a whole nother story is involved in there, but I wrote this story about the dynamics between seeing these two things at the same time. And it's called I Let Him Be. And it was something that inspired me. And I let it inspire me, and I wrote about it. So I thought that was really kind of fun. I had also the opportunity to write some new music. And like I mentioned, I learned how to play the sitar, which I think is my favorite instrument. It's just so cool. I love playing the sitar, and I had a great teacher. I actually got a teacher in India while I was there, and he continued teaching me. His name is Manik, and he continued teaching me over Zoom for a few months after I got back from India. So I had a lot of fun learning how to play the sitar and integrating it with the other instruments that I play, the guitar, the glockenspiel, the harmonicas that I have, the keyboard and synthesizers and what have yous. So, and tablas, so a little drum set that my brother was able to bring back for me because it wouldn't fit in my luggage. But anyway, I have a music studio at my house now where I'm able to create music. This year, I'm looking forward to being able to actually produce some music. So we'll see what happens. But again, it's just a creative outlet, which is really, really cool. And I just love being able to do that. And speaking of music, I auditioned or competed in a Broadway competition. So you had to sing this song without music about one of the plays. So I chose this song from a Broadway play. They gave you a choice of what to choose from. And I just sang it out and sent in my audition tape. It was judged by the judges, and I didn't win. I don't care, because you know what? I just did something that I'd never done before, that I never thought I would do, audition for a Broadway singing competition. So that was really kind of fun and cool. I really enjoyed doing that. So what else did I do? For me on my end, it's like my creativity is always expressing itself. And one of the things that I've been thinking of, this TV series that I've been wanting to create for the last 3 years since I've been part of the media center here. And I've worked a lot on the script this year. I got a lot done with the script. And so maybe this year I'll be able to do a pilot or even more of this TV series. I can't talk about it, but anyway, or tell you what it is, but I can tell you that This year, my real goal is to really get at least a pilot for this series out and produced in mainstream television. So we'll see what happens. But like I mentioned also earlier, it's like I would like to be able to do a film for Damnation Land in Portland. We have these various film groups, and one of them is called Damnation Land for Halloween. And so if you know me, you know that Halloween's my favorite time of year. And so this year I'd like to do a short, 15, 20-minute film, scary film, Halloween film, something like that, and submit it to the film festival. So we'll see how that goes. So what else? I mentioned that I joined the board of directors with Portland Media Center. And if you go to portlandmedia.org, you can find out all about what we do here with our community and how we get the community involved into the TV station, from the very young to the very old. There are so many possibilities and so many opportunities for people. And I'm glad to be one of those people that was able to walk through the doors of Portland Media Center and learn, how to direct a TV show, how to direct a film, how to produce and do sets and things like this. And even though that I have many decades of experience in the entertainment field, this was something brand new for me. I'd never done TV or film like this before, and so it was really cool. So if you're in the neighborhood in the Portland, Maine area, check us out. That's all I got to say. It's an amazing gift. What I feel like one of my big transformational accomplishments were for this year is that I became an official Habit Finder coach. Habit Finder was created by Dave Blanchard and Paul Blanchard, and based on Og Mandino's manuscripts for The Greatest Salesman in the World, The Greatest Miracle in the World, things like that. And I've been a coach for several years, and I've had the opportunity to coach dozens and dozens of business owners and individuals do transformational healing work and what have you, using core transformation and what have you. I'll talk about that in a minute. But with the Habit Finder, it really surprised me in its effectiveness and how quickly and easily it was able to get me to get in touch with the habits of thinking that have been tripping me up for many years, many decades in some cases, and shone some light on it so that now I could actually take some real action and make some real long-lasting changes in several areas of my life, which I've been long awaiting to have happen. So now that, and I used Habit Finder to help me, but through the coaching certification process, it really got me to my core of recognizing some of these habits of thinking that have been around for a long time. And with Paul Blanchard, I think he's my new guru. Sorry, Paul, don't want to put you on the spot there. But, he's been amazing. He is amazing. And his dad, Dave, and his daughter, Toby, it's a great team of people. And I'm honored to be connected with them, honored to be part of their group. Honored to be able to use this material to help transform the lives and businesses of my clients, and it's really, I'm really grateful for that. One of the other things that I really enjoyed this year was being able to be a mentor for Mark Andreas and Tamara Andreas. With core transformation, I became a certified core transformation coach a couple years ago, and that changed everything in my life. Learning how to get in touch with my deep core self, my deep core being, and how to make transformations at that level that just have ripple effects throughout other areas of my life, and to integrate wholeness work has been such a profound experience for me. So this year I got the opportunity to work with them as a mentor with their new coaches in training. And it was an incredible experience. Wow, just an incredible experience. Got to meet some amazing people and watch some amazing transformations. So, yeah. I did travel a little bit more. I went to North Carolina. I got to drive the Blue Ridge Mountains a bit. That was amazing. Saw a grizzly bear, grizzly bear or black bear, one of the two. It was big. I kept the car door closed. I literally walked right by my car because everybody was stopped on the road watching the bear go by. So, but I got to go to Asheville and see my dear friend Roger and Tobias and Aaron, and got to go to one of my favorite chocolate shops, French Broad Chocolate, as well, and really loved that. I bought a lot of chocolate from them. So anyhow, and then I got to go to Charlotte and visit my dear friend Shelly and her partner Melinda, and that was a great thing to do. Love that. Had some great barbecue all over the place. You know me, I'm a sucker for great barbecue, and we had good barbecue all over. Anyhow, so and I really enjoyed that. And I drove. It was a long drive from Maine all the way down to North Carolina, but I went through Gettysburg. And last time I was in Gettysburg, I was a kid, maybe in grade school or something, and I didn't remember much of it. But going to see it this time, it was really heartbreaking in a lot of ways, and very engaged me in a lot of thought about that. So that was my, two big trips that I had this year, which is a lot. And what else? So sadly, I was sad to lose a few friends this year, including my dear cousin Grace in Texas, and she fought hard, and she had a really difficult time, and her loss is felt, and the loss of my dear friends are felt. I hold friendships very dear and close to my heart, and if you're one of my friends, you're right there with me. And this year was a challenging year, even though there were so many wonderful things that happened. It was a deeply challenging year for me because I was able to get in touch with some highly charged emotional events that happened when I was a kid, and able to bring awareness and healing and consciousness into that. So I was grateful that I had the opportunity to do that. And then for this year, what am I going to do? I'm going to continue being aware, continue showing up for myself, continue showing up for my friends and family and colleagues and clients, and et cetera, et cetera. We'll see if I get to publish more books this year and create more art, to do the TV show, to do a film. We'll see. I know that I'm not able to sit still very long, and when I do sit still, I feel like I'm being lazy, so, or bored or what have you. But I'm grateful that I have lots of opportunities to do lots of things here, and I do plan on getting out on the road quite a bit this year again. I don't know where I'm going to go yet. I know where I'd like to go. I want to go back to India and visit my brother and his husband and just explore the country again in new ways. We'll see how it unfolds. But one thing's for sure is that I am not alone. I am blessed with very dear friends and colleagues. My mentors this year, Phil, he has been very dear to me, and sadly his wife passed unexpectedly this year, and that has created a long-lasting change, and yet he has been able to show up for me devotedly, and I can't express my gratitude enough for that. And amazing Pam in South Carolina, love you dearly. Thank you for being a mentor. Thank you for guiding me through the dark spots, as well. And thank you, Paul Blanchard, as well. I appreciate you. Mark Andreas, you're a gift in many ways, and I'm blessed to have many, many friends in my life. So this year will unfold and will bring more creation into the world and more experience. So thank you for being with me. Thank you for being part of my life. And I wish you and your family, your friends, your loved ones, a special 2024. one that really brings you fullness, completeness, joy, and hopefully some prosperity along in there with it. All right. Love you much. Bye now.